Hey everybody, this is Toby of the Garage Prospecting. Before we go any further with today's video, I want to remind you to make a comment on this video so that you qualify for one of our pay dirt giveaways in the upcoming days, all right? Just make sure any kind of comment will do. All right, so this is the material that we're dealing with today. This comes from the Arroyo Hondo, which is a dry riverbed that goes up the mountain from the Rio Grande River at an area called the Orilla Verde, which is near Pilar, New Mexico. You saw a video, by this time you should have seen the video where we collected it. So it's sandy material with a lot of black in it. These are not minerals. This is obsidian. But as you can see, I did collect a little bit of black sand. So based on what I'm seeing on the magnet here, I don't think it's enough. I'll take this out, but I don't think it's enough to run it through the dry magnetic separator. I don't think it's going to be a big problem. So I'll just add this to our pay dirt collection, and then we'll run it from there. So the plan is to run it through a 10 mesh. The plus 10 will go into a container that I saved for the Mighty Mill. The minus 10 will go into our sluice. Number 20 mesh will go through the blue spiral, and the 40 mesh will go through the blue bowl. I will make a decision about whether or not we're going to do a 60 mesh for the Miller table because I've had so much luck with the blue bowl recently. I feel like I should just go to minus 40, run it through the blue bowl, and not worry about the Miller table, but I'll make that decision once I see the material. All right? I don't know how much gold we're going to get out of this. I hope to get some. As a matter of fact, when I was collecting the sample, I thought I saw a gold flake when I was collecting it, and I thought I saw a gold flake when I was washing it out at our water source. So let me get on with the classification, and I'll come back to you when I'm done with that. All right, guys, here we got in the classifications. This is the plus 10 material. A lot of that black stuff you see is not, it's the combination of, it's either slate or obsidian as I look at it under the microscope. So this is going to go into the container that where I'm saving all the material that I'm going to run through the Mighty Mill. This is the the minus 10 material, and I took a sample of that. We're going to look at it under the microscope. This is the minus 20, and again, although it has a lot of black material in it, it isn't magnetite, it's obsidian, I think. And then this is the minus 40. The minus 40 is probably, and no, I'm sure it's the majority of the content or the material. I've decided not to run the Miller table. I'm going to run the minus 40 through the blue bowl, the minus 20 through the spiral, and then the minus 10 through the sluice, which ought to make it a pretty good run. This is pretty fine material. I was surprised to find this much in it. But let's take a look at this sample under the microscope. All right. You're going to see a significant difference between this material and the material that we saw last week in the sample from Glacier Creek Mining Company, because that's from Alaska. So as you can see, this looks more like New Mexico Arroyo material with lots of white stuff, lots of quartz, both the translucent and the semi-translucent in there. It also has some yellow material that's quartz looking. That could be topaz grains. I thought I saw a little garnet in here. Let's see if I can find it again. And I also saw, so I don't know whether I can show it to you, but those two pieces, I'll move them closer to the middle. Those two real rough-edged pieces with the little holes in them, those are probably calcium carbonate from sea animals from hundreds of thousands of years ago. There's another one. Because at one time this part of the country was under salt water. So that's where they come from. And there's our little garnet right there. Nice little translucent garnet, but lots of quartz. Even on the end over here. Let me make sure. So you can see how translucent, how transparent that quartz is. But all the white stuff there, for the most part, 90% of the white stuff is some form of quartz or the other. The black stuff is more likely hematite and obsidian. So there wasn't a lot of magnetite in this sample. Again, very, very different. You'll see that one piece right there. Although you want to believe it's gold, it's not. It's a rock that's embedded with lots of pyrite. All of this good signals that there might be some gold in this sample. So, all right, I'm going to go set up the sluice, and we will start our run. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the -10 material. This is the Mining Magnets Cleanup Sluice. If you'd like to have one for yourself, go to miningmagnets.com. You can order one as well as the accessories. And if you use the discount code GARAGE, Culture will give you a 10% discount. If you're a veteran and you use veterans, Culture will give you a 15% discount. So I will be quiet and we will make this run. Okay, wasn't what I thought it was. Let me see if I can find it again. No, it must be mica because it's floating with everything else. So I think we've been skunked on the sluice. Not the fault of the sluice. Maybe there's just no gold. Or maybe there's gold in the finer materials. All right, let's take a look at the spiral next. All right, friends, here we go with the spiral gold panning machine. I have it set at 45 degrees, which is their recommended angle, and I have it set at about a medium water flow, which is also recommended by them. We'll start by taking all the non-gold material and running it off the edge here. I'll continue to test it throughout our effort. Now we'll just shut up and you can listen to the nice music. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had a battery go dead on me as I was finishing up the run. I'm going to pull the plastic cup. Now, I don't know whether you saw me take the plastic cup out the first time, but we got gold in that first pass. This is probably going to be a little bit more black sandy than the gold. So let me turn off the... So they call this the spiral gold panning machine, and pretty much it does what you would do if you were panning. It gets rid of the lighter materials, then it migrates the black sand out of the way, and what it leaves behind is that little bit of gold here. So that's good news. We didn't get skunked in this particular run. There is gold in the Arroyo Hondo. Those are pretty nice little flakes. But let me clean it up and I will get a picture for you, okay? All right, guys, here we go with the blue bowl. And as you recall, that was most of the material from this particular sample. I'm going to get a big spoon and I'm going to do this in 2 great big runs. So I've never done this, oops, so I want to make sure that the blue bowl was level. I've never done this before, so I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping that there's more gold in this smaller amount of material, I mean in this minus 40 mesh material, and not have to worry about the mailer table. Not that it worries me, but if I can get this accomplished by just running it through the booble. I'm very happy with the results that the blue bowl produces. If you let it do its job, it does its job really, really well. So we'll start with this big stuff here, and then we'll come back and add some more to it. Okay? So I'm going to turn on the DC regulated power supply, and right now it is set at 12.0. We're going to lower that to about 6.5 to start. And then we'll see what happens. So there's going to be a little bit of dirt, dust on top. Let's see how level it is. So it's still pretty dirty in there, so I can't see anything, but as you may have seen, I stepped away to take a phone call, and I started going over the lip of the blue bowl, which means I'm going to have to run those tailings. I'm going to have to pan those tailings just to make sure I didn't lose anything. So there are
By the way, I found out that this thing is called not a volcano, as I call it. It's called a frustum, Frustum, frustum. Not a volcano, but I'm never going to remember that word, so I'll probably just keep calling it a volcano. Okay, so what we've got in here is, it looks like some black material and a flake or two of gold. So, but like I said, I think what I'm going to have to do is pan out that material, because when I stepped away, it was overrunning the lip of the bowl, and that's not good. Let's see what we got here. A little bit of black material. Let's wash it back. There's I don't know, a couple of flakes of very, very fine. Now I'm starting to wonder if I shouldn't have used the Miller table. That might have been my mistake there. So there's a lot of black stuff, some mica that you're probably seeing lighted, but there's a flake there, and there's one right there. So I don't know. I will try to get them out of here, and if I can, I'll get a picture. Otherwise, we'll just let those flakes go into the garage prospecting pay dirt. So you may be asking yourself right now, why is Toby bringing out his big old vibrating sluice? And the answer to that question is because I'm not sure I got all the gold in that run. So what I've done is I've taken the tailings from the small sluice, the spiral, and the blue bowl, got them in here, and I'm going to run them all through this sluice right here, and then we're going to pull that mat, see if we've got anything else. Okay? That's why I'm doing this. So let's see if we can produce any better results than we did from that last run that we made. So I haven't turned on the vibrator because it makes a lot of noise. The minute I turn it on, I will turn the volume off, and you guys can listen to music. All right? In case anybody's wondering, I have the vibrator set to 3,000 RPM, and I've got the water supply set to 6. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit to 6.5. And that should give us plenty of movement. All right, so I suppose there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is there are two little tiny flakes after that sluice run that ended up in here. The bad news, meaning, and so that's part of the good news. Part of the good news is all the other platforms did what they were supposed to. If there's only two flakes and all the tailings that were in there. The bad news is there is gold in Arroyo Hondo, but not that much. We got some good flakes out of the spiral, but not much else. We didn't get anything out of the sluice. We didn't get much out of the blue bowl, which usually performs pretty well, and it looks like it did this time as well. So I'm actually very happy with each of my platforms because they did what they were supposed to. If I can get these two out of here, let me see if I can even see them anymore. I mean, they're pretty hard. There's one right there. If I can get them to come out, I will get them under the microscope. There's the other one right there. They're tiny. They're little micro flakes. So I'll try, but I won't promise anything, okay? All right, guys, so as soon as we finish this, if I can get a picture of it, I will. Then we're ready for a weigh-in, and I've got a bag for us, and I'm going to put this gold in one of our pay dirt bags, all right? Stay with me. All right, guys, so I don't think there's enough in here to actually measure, but we'll try it anyway. I know it isn't very much gold. Yep, not enough to actually measure, but there's some nice flakes in there, and there's some little teeny ones in there. And I got most of the junk out that you saw in the pictures. Let's take a look at it under the microscope so you can see what it looks like. So what's interesting, of course, is that you can see the pretty good sized flakes that we got out of the blue spiral, and then beneath them they get kind of covered up. There's a bunch of them. Maybe there's a better look. Yeah, so there's a bunch of them right there. The little tiny material that we got out of the blue bowl and then the second sluice run, that's what actually came out of it. It's got a lot of stylishness to it. Let me see if we can zoom in just a little bit so you can see a couple of these smaller pieces. Just give me one sec here. Yeah. So they're not very big, but like all gold, they have their own character. So we're going to take that, and like I said, there's not much there, but it's gold, and we're putting it in our garage prospecting pay dirt bag, okay? So it's going to go in there. Give it a little shake so you guys have a hard time finding it. And we are going to give that away on Monday. Let's see, today is the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. So we're going to give it away on Monday the 17th. So make sure that you make a comment on this video in order to qualify for this giveaway, as well as a bag. We're also going to give away a bag of Anita's pay dirt, another bag, and that has a half gram in it. I'm sorry this doesn't have enough gold that you can weigh, but I hope you enjoy panning it as much as I enjoyed panning it. It was a pretty challenge, and you got to remember this is coming from a dry riverbed in New Mexico,
proving yet again that my father, when he said there was gold in every river in New Mexico, so far we're proving him correct. So I don't know whether that's good or bad. Thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you have fun with this pay dirt if you win it, and we really appreciate you being here to watch our videos and our live streams. Viva Arroyo Hondo.